Happy 2024. Yeah, but okay, let's hear the update. Like what's going on? Where are you like geographically, not specifically? Yeah, what's the update?
Let's drop a pin. So update. I have successfully moved to DC. We are not transitioning anymore. And I think I got here on the 19th. I've been with family, enjoying the holidays. It's just been a good vibe. One thing I can tell y'all is it is cold. If you are East Coaster, you probably get it. But me being a California girl, this like 39 degrees and like ice cold, I'm not used to. I went for a run the other day and I had on like Gymshark leggings and like tube socks and running shoes, right? That for my bottoms. And the top, I had on a thermal. And on top of that, a goose down jacket, ear things, and gloves. And I was still freezing. And the hood on over. And I was running, y'all, like heart rate at like 185. And I was still freezing. And so I'm like, well, can you exercise in the cold? Like, is it,
Not
let's
outside.
see.
So, like, girl, you need to find a gym with a sauna. Like,
That's true. That's
it's
true.
not
But I
giving
feel like
outdoor
I
run.
like outdoors and like I said before, like the nature of it all. Like I'm someone who walks, so I need like some miles to be able to take off. But also, I'm walking around trying to like learn my area because that's how I like learn a new environment, right? So like walking around, seeing different, like how to get different places. Apparently, like the bus and metro stations here is like way better than the BART system, so I need to try that stuff out because
Yeah.
if you know anything about BART, it's awful. That's all.
I'm like, is that their slogan? Dot dot dot. It's awful.
BART, it's awful.
No, it's truly terrible. Like I think I took BART twice to get into San Francisco from Oakland. I was scared the entire time. I will say though, I did have cell service under the
In the
bay. So
tube,
like
yeah.
yeah. That
Okay.
was probably the highlight though.
You have not lived, Sydney, until you are stuck in the tube because there's like traffic in the BART or there's like a
No.
situation. So like when I was in college, I used to work at the Nordstrom in San Francisco when I would like come home in between and when I took my year off. And that it was like crunk all the time. This was pre-COVID, obviously. So there was like people bustling all the time. So BART was moving and shaking, and there was a lot of like incidents. So whether it was dangerous or people like jumping in front of the train or like all different kind of things were happening. Also like deferred maintenance, right? So the trains were like not the best. This was black. They still had cloth seats, which is disgusting, but like all of that kind of stuff was happening. And so like it would be a hot ass day. I mean like hot. And my saving grace is that I'm tall. So like you're standing up on the train and like I'm above the armpits, but the shorties were not. And so like you'd be stuck in the train. It's hot. It doesn't have like AC flowing. Like it just sounds freaking disgusting. So all of y'all who missed BART pre-COVID, you missed a really interesting experience.
Thank God. Thank God. You know what? I used to be mad about like the parking tickets that I would get in San Francisco. It's fine. It's literally fine. Okay, DC, it's been a while since I've been there. But from what I remember, it wasn't terrible. Obviously, crime is just picking up across the country. We've definitely seen some things about DC. So obviously be careful, be aware of your surroundings. But
Right.
I like to think that it's not as bad as what you just described. So
I
yeah.
mean, look, we touched on it a little bit in the last episode, and Oakland is something else right now. So I think it's funny
Yeah.
when I was talking to my aunt the last time I was in DC before I moved here, I was like, she's like, I have like guilt because all of my family lives in, we're all from Oakland. And so she's like, I hear about all these awful things happening. She's like, I just don't have to experience that here. And I feel bad. Like, in essence, like survivor's guilt, right? Like my
Yeah.
family is telling me all these awful things, and like in DC, it's not happening as bad, and I'm like, I'm just so happy to be like freed of
Out.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I mean, it's like even the little things, like we were driving on the freeway. They call them freeways out here, interstate. I don't know the
Yes.
driving, and
Yeah. The
yeah,
highway.
and on the highway, and like you get
Yeah.
off, and there's no homeless encampments. There's like barely homeless people. I was
Yeah.
like, where? What are the? And she's like, no, that's an encampment. It was like a smaller. And I'm like, wow, that's really awesome to see. Like, because it means that the city cares enough to have some other option
Well,
for them. Well, there's another option. Like, there may be a shelter, or like,
it's better than Oakland. Yeah.
right,
I
like
wouldn't go
Oakland
as
doesn't
far to
even
say
have
that
a
the
shelter.
city cares, but like
Well,
more
they care
than
more.
California.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they care
We'll go
more.
with
So I
that.
was, that's nice to see. But I think so far, what areas have I walked around in? I walked around. I had to go to Free People, so I went to like the Georgetown area over there.
Okay.
Then I'm not good with areas, y'all. I've been to
It's
like
okay.
Maryland a little
You'll
bit.
get there. You'll get there.
Back.
Aw.
I'm gonna be running it down. Give me like a month or two if I
Yeah.
can walk.
We'll
If
check
I can.
in for an update on like where you've been in a couple of episodes.
True. But what's new with you? What's going on?
Same old, just doing my thing. It was a blizzard here today.
Feel that.
So this was my first snow in 3 years because I just moved to the East Coast a few months before you. But yeah, so I will be interested to see how digging out my car goes tomorrow. It's been a minute.
Ooh.
I
So
think it
what
was
is
my
that? Wait,
dog's
for us.
first.
Wait, rewind. For us that
Yeah.
don't understand what that is, what does that even mean?
Like digging your car out.
Is it like literally like in the snow?
Yeah, like okay. When when your car is like parked and it snows more than a foot, like the snow surrounds it and basically like snows your car into its space. So then when it's time to leave, you have to like shovel your car out. So I have to dig my car out of the snow. Yes. So you
That's an
may or may not experience that at some point on the East Coast. Um
That's a vibe.
yeah, I have a couple. I'm gonna send you like some things to get on Amazon. So
I'll take
yeah, I
anything.
got you. Yeah, I got you. I did get like a little like windshield cover for my car. So you basically lay it down the night before the snow and then you just pull it off and all the snow comes off. You don't have to like defrost your windshield. Um
That's
yeah, I'll
convenient.
make sure I include like a picture or something of like what I woke up to. But yeah, that's been about it for me, I think. We set goals the last time around. So actually, you know what? We'll save that. We'll save that to the end. Um yeah. Yeah.
Not yet. Okay, we will say that till the end. Oh, but I do have, since we're
But
talking about DC, I do have a
yeah.
question for the people because I'm a short hair shorty. Like I love a shortcut, and I like it real short, like faded real down on the bottoms, and then like gradually come up to top.
Yeah.
And of course, I had to like break up with my barber when I left, and as you see, we're getting perilously close to danger here. So, if anybody knows a barber or suggests
A
a
good
barber
one.
that knows how to cut women's hair, because like
Yeah.
I'm
So
not
Morgan,
going in for a man's fade.
what is your criteria? Because I feel like if we make this too broad, like it's not gonna end well. So like, and
Okay.
you only have one shot here. So like, what is the criteria?
Okay. So, oh my god. Okay, so my barber told me a couple tips, and we'll see if this stuff even makes any sense. He was like,
Okay.
okay, so when you go, he's like, you got to scope out barbershops. And when you go to the barbershops, sit in there first, and then look around at everyone getting haircuts. He said, this is going to take you probably an afternoon to like, really do this process, but it's needed. Like you would do
Okay.
research on those hairstylists. So he was like, go in there in the shop that you've heard is good, check out all the barbers, see how the people coming out of their chair, what their hair is looking like. And he was like, and then one that you feel comfortable with, go up to him or her, whoever's the barber, and ask them to cut your hair and tell them exactly what you like. So we took pictures of my hair after he cut it last to like, and I have pictures of me on Instagram and stuff for like when I really like my haircut to show them. And he was like, explain to them that you have to stop the fade. Now I'm going to start exposing myself per usual on this podcast. So like my head is small. I have a small head, but I also have like, everyone has a point in their head where it curves up, right? Like it starts to curve. If you cut my hair, if you start like connecting the fade any higher than about like right here, then you start seeing the curve on the top of my head, and then it's going to give kid and play. No. So we can't do that. Then also, y'all know, if you don't know, we'll insert a photo of what that looks like. I also have a hook on the back of my head, like whatever. Y'all know what that is.
A lot of men do. Actually, a lot of people do, but we can see it on men. I know. I was just saying, like it's not crazy. I correct myself. For the record, a lot of people do. We see a lot of men do because they have the fade or the taper. Is what I meant to say.
Like, yeah, no, I get you. I'm just giving you a hard time. So, like, pre-short haircut. So, if you know me pre-2019, I had like big lots of hair. Got tired of it. It's ready to go. This is easy. It works better for my gym regimen, all that stuff. I just get ready and go. It takes like 15 minutes. Love it. So, when I cut my hair off, I realized that my head has shapes, right? Like there's a dip. I have a dip in the top. I've got a hook in the back, which is why I haven't gone shorter than this, because if I would buzz it down if I could, but I have a dip in the top of my head. Won't let that be a thing. So basically, I'm gonna rewind because I'm getting on a tangent here. He was like, explain all of that to the barber and then tell them, if you mess my hair up, my haircut's free, right? And if they don't say yes, he was like, if they don't say yes, you need to leave. If they say yes, they're confident. And then give it a go.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, see, the margin of error that we have for this is very small because there's not a lot of hair to work with. So if you chop me down.
There's a good amount of hair to work with. It would just really be a shame.
We got one. Look at the hang time. Hold on.
I understand. But like, we don't want to see you in a hat for the next 30 days. So if anyone listening or watching has any quality recommendations, we would both appreciate that, because if Morgan is in a hat or a wig for this podcast, it's just not going to feel authentic. So
it's not going to give. If y'all see me in a hat, like, she been screwed up. That won't be good. So it's either going to be, like I was telling Sid, it's either going to be I find a barber and I get a haircut, or I have to start growing my hair out, because I'm not someone who can do the like looking unkempt. Like that's just not my vibe.
Real. I
don't even like the in-between hair grow out where it's like this. Like I will be rocking braids or something because there's just no way. And but it's one extreme or the next. So check back next month. I'll give you an update. Yeah. Actually, I need to get a haircut like next week. But I'm gonna let y'all know next month if I found somebody that I like. But please let me know. Comment if you know me for real. Actually, text me and tell me a barber. Because
Okay, cool.
But that's my update.
All right. Okay, cool. We appreciate that. We appreciate the transparency, the vulnerability, all of that. Before we get into like, sorry,
have you been vulnerable this week?
Yeah, actually. Yeah, I have actually. I didn't mean to be that aggressive, but yeah, I have. And it's been a lot for me. And that's why I reacted that way. But yeah, I have been vulnerable with people off of this podcast, and that's where it'll stay for now. We'll work our way to the podcast, but definitely chipping away at the goal from last week. Yeah.
We love that. We love
Okay.
that, honestly.
Before we hop into like the bulk of the conversation around community and connection, I did, in the spirit of New Year's, did you have any New Year's resolutions going into 2024?
So I'm not a big resolutions person because New Year's resolutions person, only because New Year's resolutions seem to put a time frame on something that I feel like can be goals that need more time to reach. So like when someone says a New Year's resolution, you have a year, right? And then by the end of the year, you need to check in and see if you've gotten to that goal so you can have a whole new set of goals. But a lot of the goals that I have for myself at this stage of my life are more long term. Um, I'll be a little vulnerable, one of which is to me and two of my fellow Legree sisters, Kennedy and Bree, are going to open a studio in DC out here. So, but that's like a long-term goal, right? There's licensing involved and getting a space and breaking ground on that and like doing all of that stuff, right? And it's really exciting and we've been working on it, but that's definitely like more than a 1 year goal. So I have a list of goals that I have for myself that I want to start chipping away at this year. One of which is that finding a new job is one of them, which I told y'all about at the last episode. But that's still on my list. Stuff like that, getting to know my city, finding community, which we'll dive into a little more, but that kind of stuff. Oh, and like a mini one, I kind of alluded to it earlier, but the running thing. I'm not a runner at all, like at all, but I'm trying to try something new, and I'm in a city where nobody knows me, so I can run and look stupid, and it doesn't matter because nobody cares.
I just really can't even picture you looking stupid while you run because you're just like you're athletic. Like you have an athletic build, like, you know, you look good. I just really can't even picture you not looking graceful while you run, to be honest.
Thank you very much. Well, thankfully no one will have to see it. So nobody that knows me
Like,
will
I appreciate that, but the truth of the matter is
the truth of the matter is it's ugly because it's like I'm not a cute face worker outer. Like I'm like feeling it. Like if it hurts, it hurts. And I'm not over here trying to be like cute and graceful. Like
okay.
no. And with running, I get like serious. I don't know.
You're running in your truth.
Or yeah, like I'm running through some stuff. Or I'm like depending on what I'm playing on my headphones. So like right now, the song that I start my runs with is the Nicki Minaj song. That's like
which one?
On my tippies. Rapping the song like down the street.
Are you running on your toes? Like, are you feeling the song to that level?
Oh, I'm feeling it. I'm dancing. I'm like in the moment. Okay. Like it's a whole thing. So, you know. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool. I like need an update on that as well.
I will give you one. What are your resolutions? What have you got going on with that? If you have any.
I'm actually really happy that you said you don't really set them because, to be honest, I didn't set any this year, not officially, and I have in the past. But I got kind of down on myself because the ones that I set last year didn't happen by January 1st. But that's why I'm really appreciative of what you just said because, yeah, like some goals take a little bit longer. And I'll be vulnerable for a second because it's funny and, you know, laugh through the pain. But one of my New Year's resolutions last year was to just become more of a thought leader in like my industry. And for those of you that don't know, I pivoted like 2-ish years ago from traditional healthcare to like health tech. So like I'm teaching myself that. And my big goal was to like really be that girl as far as like speaking for that. And because I've done speaking engagements throughout the year, but like Okay, I made a vision board because I'm a visual person. So in order for me to like visualize being that girl in the space, I took a photo of Oprah and Dr. Oz in an interview. And
Okay.
then I low key cut out my face and pasted it on top of Oprah's face. And needless to say, I've not interviewed anybody of Dr. Oz's caliber by
Not low key.
January.
That's right. That's goal.
Yeah.
Goal. It's attainable.
Yeah.
Also, we're going to see that photo. So
Yeah. I'll include it. If you're just listening, you'll really need to check out the audio because, like, yeah, I'll include it for sure. I just really need to see things, and for me, like, I went to a vision board party last year. So my friend saw me making it, and like, I just really wanted to, because I had accomplished everything on my vision board from the previous year. I just wanted to like go even bigger and like really enter full Delulu. Which is so interesting how I'm disappointed that I didn't meet full Delulu, but like, even when my friends saw me like cutting out my head and like pasting it on top of Oprah's body, they were like, Sydney, like, but it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. It didn't happen in 2023, may not happen in 2024, but yeah. People just, I keep getting microphones in front of me, so we'll just see where that leads. And, you know. Yeah.
And Oprah wasn't Oprah. I mean, she's born Oprah, but like Oprah wasn't Oprah Winfrey media mogul in like a year. So yeah, give yourself some grace, girl. Give yourself some grace.
Okay.
But I love
Not me
that.
thinking I'm a bigger manifester than Oprah, but
I mean, maybe you are. Your life has not played out yet. Your life has not played out yet. Oprah's like 70. You're not. Like, you have time. And your life is still so, yeah, like your life is so not even, like older people like to say, your life hasn't even really started yet. Like, we're still so fresh.
It feels like
it's running.
Feels like we're really in our third season over here, but okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully not. But, you know, although not to be said, I hope it gives us some hope because, I mean, I have like part of, I think, one thing that people in our friend groups tell us for sure is that like you and I are people who seem like we have it all put together. I've heard that from so many people. Like, you just have it all put together. You got so much going on. And I'm like, I'm like, I'm figuring it out day by day, like you too, sister. Like, I don't have it all figured out, to say the least. But I think one thing that I'm not afraid to do is like try anything, like put myself out there and just try. And so, but you talking life into your Oprah manifestation is putting yourself out there. People know now. You just put it on a podcast. This is what Sydney wants. You never know who's listening, right? Like, or who might hear you say that, or, you know, I feel like when you talk things, you manifest it. You also are holding yourself accountable by speaking it. So I think which is another reason why I don't do vision boards like that. Like, I'm more like I want to speak it, talk about it, live it. I'm definitely like, I want to see it too, but like I'll write things down, but having like a vision board party is not, you know, I would love the party part, but you know, I'm not holding myself to the vision board.
How Leo of you.
Yeah, I'm like, let's party. That sounds great. And I love crafts, but you know, not all the way. But I would like to kind of like maybe not go backwards, but mesh all this together. And I just told y'all that I moved to a new city. And I met Sydney because she was in a new city. She was in Oakland. And I would love to hear like how that went for you. How was finding community for you? Like, what was your move like?
Yeah. Okay. So I moved to Oakland very, very randomly. Like I had I been I had been to Oakland once for 2 days before I moved to
Okay.
Oakland. And that was just because I had never been to California. Like I had never even been on the West Coast when I moved.
Oh wow.
I needed a life change. I was in my quarter life crisis mid pandemic, and I was like, we moved. So I applied to a job out there, got it. And within a month, like I had flown out there with just 2 suitcases, had shipped my car, and was an Oakland resident. I was in a relationship at the time when I moved out there, but the relationship while I was out there only lasted like 4 to 5 months. So when that ended, I knew 2 people in Oakland from college. And like wasn't like I knew them. We weren't close at the time. Um it was like that Howard thing. Like if you went to Howard, like if you know someone who went to Howard in your city, like it's an unspoken thing. You link, you introduce them to your people, that's it. So that's what we did. And I kind of like grew my network from there. But to be honest with you, it was challenging. I think like adult friendships take a little bit more discernment than like when you go to college your freshman year and you will literally just be friends with anybody who speaks to you. And I think when I first moved, and obviously like you I'm sure know better than this now, like where you're at, but when I first moved to Oakland, I approached it like freshman year, and
Mm.
I had to really tap into my own discernment, especially like coming out of a long-term relationship. Like I was really just trying to like basically restart my life. I was in a new city, wanted to have as much community around me as possible. But the older we get, I think we realize that not all company is good company. So
A word.
there were some ups and downs there for sure.
Okay. I love that. Thank you for
Yeah.
your vulnerability. I want to acknowledge your
Yeah.
vulnerability when you give it because I know it's hard. And
Okay,
I think
have
I
you sorry, I
have
just wanted to
no,
deflect for
please,
a second.
please, please.
Have you
Bring it on.
okay. Have you like started exploring your community? Because I know we talked about in our last episode that that was going to be kind of like an emphasis for this particular chapter in your life anyway. And you're
Mhm.
kind of starting with maybe not a blank slate, but a cleaner slate being on a different coast.
So not yet. Short answer, not yet. A little bit
Okay.
longer answer. Since we're coming out of holiday and like everyone's moving and shaking,
Yeah.
I'll start diving deeper into that. Um, I have people that live out here that I went to school with, that I went to college with. I didn't go to college in DC, but that I went to college with that moved out here. Um, High school, I have family out here. So like I have community, which is nice. So from that kind of having like people that I already have connections to, I think diving deeper into those relationships will definitely be something that I start doing as this new year has started. Not the familial ones, obviously, because we're already tight, but the other
Yeah.
other ones. And then for finding new community, well, you know what's funny is I was actually, as I'm interviewing for all these jobs and stuff, I was one of the interview questions because I do a lot of community engagement work, social impact work is what I my what field I'm in, and one of the interview questions that went for one of these jobs was how would I find and learn about community in DC when I am not from here, but I'm working on portfolios that are directly affecting and impacting these communities?
Oh, snap.
And to me, it was like, I mean, when I'm thinking through a philanthropic lens, because that's the kind of work that I'm doing, like, It's going to those community events. It's going to volunteer at these different organizations. It's like I have the answer for that stuff, right? Like I know how to enter into community when it's organized community.
Yeah.
I think anyone who knows me knows I'm a social butterfly. So like if it comes to needing to go out to be social, like I can meet people that way too. Um, but if I'm gonna be honest with you, that's not my focus right now. I'm
Okay.
like, and I think part of it might be a trauma response from Oakland because it had gotten to
Okay.
a point where our friend group wasn't going outside. Like we were just so traumatized from the Bay Area going out scene. And like, one, the danger. Two, it's not fun because the same DJ is DJing the same music at the same parties, the same venues where you see the same 8 people. And there was
Yeah.
no like new, fresh anything. Which was starting to change a little bit. I think when I left, maybe there were a couple new party things happening, but I don't know. And then also it was just like it felt so young. And I think part of that is because at in this age group of like early 30, really late 20s, early 30s, our mid 20s, early mid 20s was in a pandemic where we weren't
Mm.
like out hanging out doing whatever with each other. Like, well, if you were doing what you were supposed to be doing, you weren't like out here parlaying.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so now that we are out of that for the most part, right? We have this yearning for connection and like all of that. And we want to hang out and we want to do, but then all of us don't really know what to do or where to go because we missed that scene for so long and we didn't make that scene. So we're all just kind of like swimming around in this like aquarium of whatever. But then the new ones that are coming in, the younger ones, the 21s, 22s, 23s, 24s, are like rushing in, living how we were living when we first turned 20. It's just like so excited, like hot and ready, like a Little Caesars pizza. Like, but then when we go out, we don't want to be with them. Like, I'm sorry, I don't want to be. I don't want to be with you out. And like,
Yeah.
and so there's
And
nowhere
I
for
don't
our.
really think we should be like,
What am I doing with a
yeah.
21-year-old? Like, my sister is 21, and I've always said to y'all, like, if we're ever in the same club, like, we don't need to be there. Like, it's just not. It's
Yeah.
not hitting.
Yeah. Yeah.
So with that being said, I feel like my response to going out in social settings is a trauma response from Oakland's. Just the lack of, like, we were doing lots of wine nights or like girls' night or like
Yeah.
going to the movies or going to Cheesecake Factory, like just being very inside.
Yeah.
And so I know DC's not going to be like that, right? It's like different. It's totally different scene, different people. All the people are new to me, so it's going to be exciting
Right.
in that way. So I'm gonna like force myself to get into it a little bit more, but as of right now, it's just not like my highest priority. So I'm going to work on it. I'm gonna promise I'm gonna work on it.
Just like bit by bit. And obviously it's winter, so you have time to ease into it. Like DC summer is really hot. I think DC spring is like
Mhm.
really where you'll start to like,
Will I
kind of get
thrive?
comfortable. I also have a few people that I know down there who, like, if you're just looking for some people to go out with that have a good head on their shoulders, they're not necessarily the for the plot type of people like me, because for the plot people can't be friends with for the plot people. Like, that's just chaos. But I think, you have
Sure.
connections. You have people that have connections, and then you can like slowly start to like ease your way outside.
Yeah.
I did want to ask you though, like, just thinking about the age difference, like, so we know true adult friendships are different than
Mhm.
when we were making friends initially, when we first got out of college or we first moved to like our first city or whatever. Like, is there anything that you're like worried about, like nervous about, or like anything that you're keeping in mind just being a different age with new experiences and new insights going into the situation?
Yeah. I think the older I got, the older I'm becoming, the more aware I am that you don't need to be friends with everybody. Because you can't. Like you can't. I know my mom used to tell me that growing up, and like her friend and whatever, they would tell me like, you can't be somebody who's friends with everybody is actually friends with nobody, because you can't be a
Ooh,
true friend to everyone, right? So like I'm okay with that.
yeah.
Now being selective around about the people that I allow into my energy, into my orbit. I know that my therapist would tell me like I'm an empath, um, through and through, and I feel everyone's emotions really hard. And I'm also the rock friend for all of my friends. And so, or for, I'm not gonna say all, that's for most of my friends. And so sometimes the rock needs a rock, right? And it's like, it
Yeah.
becomes exhausting and emotionally draining. Um, to just be someone who's always checking on people, always being like, "Are you okay? How can I help?" Like, and I mean it from a genuine place because I really care and I like really do want to know how you're doing and stuff like that. But when it's not reciprocated, that becomes like taxing.
Yeah.
So I now when I make friends, um, I'm very selective of like, so if I hang out with you once in a group setting and I feel like, oh, this girl's cool or this person's cool, um, I'm not gonna just be like, okay, now we're friends, we're hanging out every single day. Like that was how it was in college, right? Like you're like, okay, I found a
Yep.
friend, we're really dope, we're just gonna go to every party together, we're gonna do all
And
these things
that's
together,
it.
like, and now you're my best friend, and now it is just what it
Yeah.
is, and we're gonna be friends forever.
Yeah,
And like, granted, I have some friends like that. Like,
for sure.
shout out Alex. We met in college, had some interesting situations with both of our roommates because they were like
Ooh.
El Pollo Loco. And we we ended up the two of us sleeping in one twin size bed trying to get away from our roommates for like a semester.
Oh, so y'all like bonded. I don't know if that's
We
a
were
trauma
twins.
bond or like
It was a trauma bond, and thank God her family lived in New Orleans, so or like in Louisiana. So we were like go her mom would cook us like dinner and like we would hang out with her sister, her little sister, and like we had somewhere else to be, but we
yeah,
stayed friends. And like it's been great to see
yeah.
her family grow and her get married and like all of these things. Like, but that's rare,
Oh,
right? Like that doesn't happen. Excuse me, that doesn't happen all the time. So I think to go back to your question, now I think when I get friends or when I meet new women or new men or whoever, I'm going to be open in myself and just the like the warm energy that I am in a room and let that attract people. But I'm also not going to put my whole heart into anything without reciprocation because that's how you get let down. Friendships, relationships, whatever.
yeah. And honestly, I personally feel like a friendship breakup, like or being disappointed by your friends, worst, like that's
Yeah.
actually number like top 2 pains in life, and it's probably not number 2. I think just because like from a relationship, a romantic relationship, if you go into that, we know the risks associated. Like, no,
Yeah.
everyone talks about it all the time. It gets plenty of airtime about how to heal and recover from a breakup.
Right, right.
Female friendship breakups, like that, I feel like you really, for a lot of people, when you have one, and I think a lot of women have gone through it where like they have had a very close friend that just isn't anymore, you're low key alone in that. Like, I don't think there's as much support. There's definitely not as many resources on how to like move forward without or when there's like a change in that dynamic. Cuz with your girlfriends, like those are people you might have been talking to every day, talking about things to, bouncing ideas off of, like obviously maybe not like on a codependent level where you're doing everything together, but
Right,
that
right.
might have been like your go-to person to try new things. And when that ends, I think that hurts I'll at least say for myself that that's been more painful than like any other type of breakup I've ever experienced. So I like that you're like going into it slow. It's almost like dating, low key, like approaching like friendships a little bit more slowly and not just like dating or getting into a relationship with the first option that is presented to you.
Mhm.
Um yeah, I like that. That's like some grown woman like
I gotta grow up
relationship
at some point.
navigation.
Thank you. I mean, yeah, and it's also just I really value Morgan and my peace and my happiness and
Yeah.
my I can understand. Hey, Zulu. Zulu said +1. um, so yeah, I really value all of that, and I'm distracted because Zulu's funny. It's because of Tia's. If Brownie was here with me, he'd be actually in the camera, like, "What y'all doing?" So it's I totally get it. Talking about
I was
Carnival.
like, "Oh my gosh."
You know, mom, it's funny.
Okay,
Um,
continue, sorry. She was just co-signing what you were saying.
yeah, everyone needs a peanut calorie over there. So we yeah, I value my peace and my happiness and I value myself and I have been through recently. When I say recently, I mean in the past like 3 years. Um
Yeah.
friendship breakups where it took more from me as a person than I should have allowed it to
Yeah.
because there was an attachment style with a friendship because you have like your core group of girls, right? And like you all talk about everything, do everything, whatever. And then a lot of cases, they know you more than your significant other because
Yeah.
they, you tell them about everything. And when someone breaks your trust or is not a good friend, because, there's effort that needs to go into these relationships, there's communication, healthy communication styles with
Yeah.
friendships. And so, yeah, I started caring about this is gonna sound terrible, but I started caring about me more than I cared about them. And as an
Mhm.
empath, that's something that is hard to do.
Yeah.
Um, but you'll be happier. You have to be kind of selfish in some things.
Some things. I mean, I feel like that's more of a boundary than like being selfish. If it gets to the point where a relationship is draining you, friendship, romantic or otherwise, it's no longer a healthy relationship and um there's been some disregard for your own personal boundaries, I think, if a
Mhm.
relationship gets to that point. So yeah, I
100%.
don't think that that's selfish. I think sometimes the word selfish gets a bad rap, but there's a time and place for everything for sure.
No, 100%. And like, I mean, look, I'm the person who I will talk to anybody at a party, at a club, at a whatever, at a restaurant. If I see someone sitting by themselves and they look lonely, I'm gonna go over and say something because like I just enjoy communicating and I enjoy connecting with
Yeah.
people. Um and like I've always grown up with my grandpa would always say it's nice to be nice. And so like just being a kind person is just like how I live my life.
Yeah.
Um which is probably why I'm in philanthropy and social impact work now, but like um it's so I don't want it to sound cold when I say, I gotta put me first. But we'll see what happens. I Adult friendships also are like so different than college because like or younger adult friendships. We're gonna go past college. Let's say even mid-20s. Like it's just different, right? So you have people that you are with. This is your first like out of college, you have a job, your first big girl job, and you're like living your life. And these are
Yeah.
the people that you go to brunch with every weekend, you work out with them every day, you whatever, you party with them, you everything, right? Because
Mhm.
they're your in a lot of people's cases, home away from home when you moved for a job or you did whatever.
Yeah.
It becomes codependent in a lot of ways. because that's your family, right? In essence. And you put a lot of weight on those relationships. And then I think the older we get, the more our lives start to like splinter off in a way because we just have a lot of
Mhm.
things going on. And then it goes from your friendships morph into and transform into a different stage of life. And it goes from high maintenance, whatever, to like low maintenance relationships. But low maintenance relationship can easily be misconstrued as just being a bad friend if you don't do that
Yes.
correctly.
Yeah.
So I'll let you speak on this if you'd like, but what do you think the difference is between a low maintenance friendship, which isn't a bad thing, but a
Yeah,
low
yeah.
maintenance friendship and just like being a bad friend?
So, all right, here's my transparency moment. This is number 2 for this podcast, actually, for those keeping score at home.
We're gonna keep a score. We're gonna go.
Okay. I have been both. I've been the bad friend and I've been the low maintenance friend. I think now I'm starting to transition into a bit more of a higher maintenance friend. But with that, I have less friends because there's only so much I can give.
Mhm.
Um, but I'll speak first on like bad friends since I've been there, I've owned it, I've worked on it, am
Okay.
working on it. I was definitely one of those girls who got into a relationship and fell off the face of the earth for a lot of my friendships. And I've had the conversation with the friends that knew me in both my phase as a girlfriend and my phase being single. I've had to own
Mhm.
up to a lot of just like really like shitty friend behavior, to be real with you. Like, I think some of the things that I would do, only hitting up my friends when I wasn't hanging out with my man or when my man was busy. That's not a good friend because then it's like you're not making time for both of those things. You're prioritizing one and you have a backup plan in case the priority doesn't work
Mhm.
out. So I think that that's not a sign of a good friend. Um, and I've definitely been there. I think like not being a good listener. There have been times in my life, and we all go through these periods where we have like so much going on with ourselves that sometimes we can get self-absorbed and like not be as receptive to our friends as we probably should. But
Mhm.
like, you can't always be the friend that vents. You can't only go to your friends when you need to vent. Sometimes you need to hit up your friends randomly and be like, "Hey, what's going on in your life?" Like, or even like I've noticed this now, or actually when I was in my lower maintenance friendship era, um, I started scheduling time with my friends because we get older, we get busy.
Oh
I
yeah.
personally hate like being on the phone. Well, I hate connecting on the phone. I love TikTok and I love like bed rotting with my phone, but like, like
I love bed rotting, but I hate talking to my actual friend.
I love sending my friends TikToks and like reels and stuff to convey that I'm thinking about them and like things that like make me think of them.
And
But
that's a full conversation. I just want to let that know. Like you can have a
yeah,
full conversation with someone sending reels and memes back and forth, and I would consider that we're in a healthy communication style because
in
we're
a
laughing.
yes.
Well,
Okay.
that
All
shouldn't
right.
be the only thing you're doing, but like if you
Yeah.
understand my humor, I would like this. That means you're thinking like we're going back and forth. Like I'm a meme girl, so like I get it.
Yeah.
But like
100%.
there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. But to your point, it has to go hand in hand with another form of communication.
Hmm.
But for me, like I have a certain amount of social battery and when it's up, it's up. And like
Okay.
that's why what I've started doing is really like scheduling time. That way I can start to like plan how much of my social battery I'll give here, how much I'll give here. And it's not like a hard cutoff or anything. Like when I'm talking to my genuine friends, it does recharge me. But it's just like
Hmm.
the thought of having to like sit down and like that takes energy from you. But back to my initial point, like not only hitting up my friends when there was a problem, I try to be
Hmm.
very conscious of that or like not when my friends ask like if we vent about me for like 30 minutes or if I'm venting for 30 minutes, like there's a handoff. Like, see how your friend's doing. You just literally trauma dumped on them. Like,
Just sit there
check
silently.
in.
Like,
Yeah.
okay, bye.
Like, no.
Thanks for this
So yeah, those
therapy
are
session.
yeah. Like that's terrible. That's
Yeah.
terrible. That's being a bad friend versus being a low maintenance friend, which is sending memes, sending TikToks, texting occasionally to check in. And like some of my friends know for a fact, and I've communicated this with them. You might only hear from me every 3 weeks. It's not because I don't care. I will answer your TikToks in between, but like when I'm having a conversation with a friend, it's never passive for me. Like you have my undivided attention. I suck at multitasking. I'm not even going to try and do it. So like I'm not really the friend that can sit on the phone while you're doing other things or while I'm doing like that doesn't work for me. So I think like that was more of a lower maintenance version of myself where I didn't really require friends to check in on me as much. It was like mostly social media. But as I've started to decrease the size of my friend group and really like hone in on the people that bring me energy, it's gotten easier for us both to be higher maintenance with each other.
Blah, blah.
Yeah.
And I totally agree with you that there are like your really close friends, like once you get on the phone with them, like once schedules allow, like it is recharging.
Yeah.
And I think that's definitely a way to tell if someone is really your friend or if it's just not, if it's just someone who you have like, you feel like you have some obligation to be around because of history.
Yeah.
Because there are some people who, right, like you've been friends with them for a really long time and you feel like, I need to talk to them. I need to, like, if they call me, I have to sit on the phone and like do the whole thing. But then after you'll come away from it feeling like energies just sucked from you.
Yeah.
Like Harry Potter reference, you know, like when the Death Eaters like come and they just like take everyone's soul. Like
Yes.
that's how you feel after. And like
Yes.
we all felt that before. And that's like the worst freaking feeling. And so maybe at that point in time, just cut them off. Just let them, you
Like
know, or
those like memes where they don't know it, but this is our last time speaking. Like
yeah, like that. But no, because that's not healthy, Sydney. I would
okay.
say
Okay.
I would say like ease out in a way where it's like still be cool with them. Like you value that person, right? So it's not, but you don't have to be as close. So it doesn't have to be your last time. You don't have to come off cold turkey. But like you know,
I'm
make it
getting
more
there in
like
my growth. But yeah, I hear you.
yeah, like, you know, maybe instead of one-on-ones or hour-long phone calls, it turns into group brunch settings and, you know, a coffee, like let's get coffee or let's go co-work together. Like that kind of a thing where you don't have to have like your whole undivided attention or whatever.
Yeah.
Because like you, I'm definitely, as the older I get, the more low maintenance friend I am becoming. Um, and I tell this to my girlfriends that I'm like, it's not that I don't want to be your friend. It's not that I don't care or that I'm not interested in our relationship. It's that I'm not on my phone like that. I don't text. I'm not a good texter. And so if you are a texter, that's not my form of communication that I'm good at. So it's not going to be, you know, that's not going to be the best. And if you want to call me, just call me. Like, yeah, but like, and I'll answer if I can and we can talk and it might end up being a 2-3 hour conversation. But like the best thing for me is in person but that's hard like the older you get, right? Because it's like there's not enough time.
Yeah.
So
Don't
it's
call
really
me.
hard. Huh?
Don't call me. I don't answer unscheduled calls.
Not don't call
I'm
me.
anyone who knows me knows that. No. Love you? No.
I'll answer an unscheduled call, but don't FaceTime me because I'm like, "Ooh, are you okay, Nosy? What are you I don't
Not
like
no.
I don't like that at all. There are
They
a
try to see
few
where you're
people.
at. What are you doing?
Yeah, like you're an op. There are a couple people that can FaceTime me unplanned, and I'll answer, and I'll
Yeah.
be like, "Hey," and like no matter what I'm doing, I'll answer. There was a meme that I saw the other day, and like I don't do this, but it was funny because now I'm thinking about it. But it was like everyone needs that one friend that you can FaceTime while you're taking a shit, and I'm like, I would never do that with. That's just like a lot, but. Yeah, like you need someone that you're that comfortable with in your life. You should have someone that you have like,
Yeah.
you know.
I have a few of those. I'm not gonna hold you. Like it's on mute, but yeah. Yeah.
I think the meme is
Y'all know who
alluding to
you are.
I think the meme is alluding to non-mute. Like it's like a full experience, Cinemax
Oh,
experience.
Cinemax. No. I'm not. Maybe one day. No.
No,
Too
that's not
vulnerable. Mute
happening.
for sure, but
Yeah, it's not giving. Okay, this is a tangent again, but like, did you remember that like debate everyone was having about the toilets that were like two in one bathroom, and they were like, me and my man this would be us, and it was like two toilets in the same bathroom, like, and people were
I
like, I
I
would do
would.
this.
I
You
would.
would?
I would. Like if
For
I really
what?
liked him, I would.
But like, for why?
I don't know. Just because we can. Like, I don't know.
So you got like holding hands while you both take a dump? Like that's
I
weird.
don't know if we would hold hands, but
But that's
like,
how close the toilets are. You're like
yeah,
touching
but
elbows.
just because it is that close doesn't mean you have to. Like, I don't know if I would hold his hand. That'd be weird, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe.
Everybody poops, but at the same time, that's just not happening.
I don't think I would like if I were designing my dream home, no. But like I'm just saying I would.
I would, okay, if I was designing my dream home, I would have like a big master bathroom, and
Yeah.
this would happen for sure. A big master bathroom, and then there's two different toilet
Private.
closets.
Yeah.
Yeah, like over by where your sink is, all the way over there, can have yours, and it closes the door, and then mine closes the door. I mean, that's technically the same
Totally
room,
agree.
but like we're not going to be like up on each other. Like
Yeah. If I had it my way, for sure.
you will have
If
it your way.
I had an
Oprah,
apartment
you will have it
that
your way.
had yeah, you get a toilet. You get a toilet. No, but like if I lived in like an apartment building and the toilets were next, if there were two random toilets next to each other and we both had to go, yeah. Sorry about it.
Yeah. I'm thinking.
You don't have to agree. You can set a boundary. You
No,
don't
no,
have
there's
to
no
agree.
because now I'm thinking, I'm going, yeah, but I'm thinking, what apartment building would you have signed the lease if the two toilets were together in the bathroom?
Oh, I don't know. Things are getting weird. We have no idea like what the future will bring. No idea. No clue.
Cheap. Not you don't get two bathrooms. One bedroom, two bathrooms, but it's
Two
just two toilets.
toilets. I'm so weak.
One bedroom, two toilets. Newly renovated. Amenities
Yeah.
included.
Not amenities included. No, I'm actually gonna look that up to see if like those are in existence because I'm sure someone's come up with it.
Okay, yeah. So I mean, there was a picture that went along with that meme. I'm gonna have to find this so we can put it in here just in case y'all can see it.
Please.
But there
We
was like
need
a
context.
whole yeah. But you remember what I'm talking about, right?
No. I mean I hear you, but I don't think I've ever
Wait,
seen
let me
that.
make sure this wasn't a fever dream. I'm gonna look it up as we still talk. Because it may have
I
been.
feel like the Mandela effect is gonna have you looking so crazy right now. Like it doesn't exist.
Like Morgan, so you secretly do want a toilet that you sit in the same house. You
And
made that
that's
up in your mind because
okay.
you want it. Oh, weak. Oh Lord. Well, while I'm looking this up, I will. We can two toilets in bathroom meme. I don't know what I'm
Okay.
looking up for people.
Yeah, careful. I feel like Google's like kind of scrubbed most inappropriate. Well, actually, let me just shut up because that doesn't even make sense. Redact.
The internet is a scary place. Okay, well, when I looked it up, then a bunch of things popped up that aren't relevant. So we're gonna just, I'm gonna dig for that for y'all, and then
Okay.
and then I'm gonna post it. But okay, let's get back to finding community. So, I would be curious to know, Sydney, since you are in Rhode Island right now.
Yeah.
What are you finding community in Rhode Island, or are you like keeping things outside of the state?
To be honest, this is going to sound terrible, but I kind of don't want to find community in Rhode Island. Like, my best friend lives here, like my best friend. We have been friends since high school. She's the only person that I'm still friends with from high school. Like, no beef with anyone else, but like the only person like I'm still close with. And we didn't even go to the same high schools. We were actually like enemies in swimming. Like we were the only two Black girls, so terrible. But like, yeah, then we ended up going to Howard together, swimming together, and being like, I don't know what that beef, it was an unspoken beef, mind you. Like, we never confronted each other. And then we went to Howard together, and our parents were cool, obviously. And then yeah, we just got really close, stayed close from there. So me and her have gotten like extremely close. She's my best friend now. She's honestly taught me more about quality friendships than like any other friendship. Like the things that I learned being a friend to her and like having that open channel of communication with her, I take into other friendships to try and be better. So yeah, that's my girl. Shout out to Michaela. But aside from her, I also think I just don't want to stay here. And I hate like it's not even abandonment because I would be the one leaving. But like to me it just doesn't really sit right.
Having to break up.
I just don't like it. Like, why would I start something knowing I'm not going to be here? And then I also know that I'm kind of decreasing my close friendships. So, like, if I'm going to be friends at this point in my life, if I consider you a friend, I'm putting like actual effort into it. I'm not just going to do that just to have someone to hang out with while I'm here. And then, like, kind of like ghost them when I move unintentionally, but like I would probably ghost them after I moved. So
yeah, like you said,
I know myself.
Do they know this is the last time they'd hear from you? If you've never heard from myself, again, I can't. I'm just gonna let you know that this is what she did to you.
That's why I haven't done it. I've been here for like a couple of months, and like, you know, there are people I'm cool with, but like I have kind of had my wall up while I was here because I'm just not willing to like start a deep relationship with someone that I'm not going to have the energy to maintain when I move somewhere else and then have to make a whole new set of friends that I need to pour into. So
look, you're not wrong. It makes sense.
Yeah. I'm just like this, maybe this is just me season. Like I'm focusing on pouring more into the friendships that I already have and like really deciphering who I want to pour into, because it's not like not all of your friendships are going to make it over the years and like moving forward. So I'm just really starting to pay attention to like where I'm putting my energy, who gets it, and like who it's easy to pour into. Like there are going to be difficult times, but like who do I really feel a connection with, who's refilling my cup without even trying. Like yeah, so that's where I'm at.
Also, I think with friendships at this stage in our lives, like you have to also be bringing something to each other's lives that is in a growth mindset, because we're not just friends just because we met at school, or friends just because we met at summer camp or whatever. Like, you know, like it's not like that. It's like we're friends because we're like-minded individuals. So like I think it goes into that thing of like, if you're the smartest one in the room, you need to be in a different room. So like your friends should be people that challenge you. And I know like all of my girlfriends, you included, Sydney, are women that I like look up to in a way where I'm like, they are really doing the damn thing and are trying and are accomplishing, not just trying, accomplishing and moving and shaking and pouring into themselves in a way that is inspiring. And it pushes me to want to be like a better woman and reach more of my goals and my dreams. And so like, if you're a woman that is in my life right now, it is because I see you as someone who is inspirational and aspirational. So like, that is like, because I'm at that stage in my life where I'm like, we are grinding. I know like grinding is not the best mindset, but like we're in that space where we are building so that we can coast later on. And I want women in my life where in the next decade, in our 40s decade, we're looking and we're like, remember in our 30s, we did this, 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 and this. We worked towards this. You said you were going to do this and look, you accomplished that. Like that is the kind of like relationship with women that I want to have in my life as friends right now. I mean, yeah, there's some friends who are just like going out friends and they're fun or whatever, but like my real core relationships that I'm pouring into.
Yeah.
Like that's the kind of supportive community I want.
Yeah. Okay. That was so grown. I love it.
You know,
Okay.
like I said, I gotta grow up at some point.
Yes. Okay. Okay, so just to like end it.
Okay.
Because, you know, we've been kikiing for like an hour now. I really think that you, like, I've watched you navigate relationships. You're also someone that I like, you know, I talk to about like conflict resolution and like having those like actual like conversations with friends. So yeah, everything that you're saying really resonates, and like you're definitely, I think you get different things from different friends. And like, yes, I'm watching you grind as well, but like I think there's also like that emotional like piece that you should be looking for from your friends to like really like aspire to have, or to like want to have certain qualities. So yeah, I feel the same. So yeah, that's, I wanted to get like, yeah, 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 little mushy for a second, but okay.
Rein it back in, Sydney.
Reining it in. Back to business. We kind of talked about our goals earlier, but I just wanted to like close with the goals. I think we both accomplished our goals from last week. Any goals moving forward that you want to share?
Ooh, okay. My goal for this upcoming week.
Yeah.
Oh God, I can be a little vulnerable in this, but we're gonna speak things into existence. This job that I've been interviewing for, I am supposed to hear back from them this week. To whether I go on to the third round of interviews. So we're gonna hope for that. That's a goal. The goal is to have that happen, which is out of my control. But we're just gonna. Well, actually, it is. It was within my control because I did the interview. Fingers crossed. And what's another short-term goal that I can? Oh, my running goal. So this will be my first full week of it. Is to run a mile, at least a mile every day. Now, barring weather, it was like torrential downpour yesterday, and that was too much. So, and I think I might invest in one of those little trackpad things so that I can like still walk and kind of run, but at home, since I don't have my Peloton here. But yeah, so my running goal, and then we're gonna speak good things into the universe for this job because I would like it. I would like it very much. Thank you. What about you, Sid?
I love that. Similar to you, been interviewing for some new jobs. So I'm hoping that I hear back from one, if not all of them, this coming week, and I know what February is going to look like because I don't. So, yeah.
Going in
This is
blind.
like the first time in my life where I'm just like, whatever the universe has for me, I'm open to it. Okay, cool. All of the jobs are like different, so whichever one I get will be a new trajectory
Mhm.
for me, so that would be cool. And even if I don't get them, it still allows me to kind of like know what February is going to look like regardless. I'm just looking for an answer at this point. And I'm just going to continue with the vulnerability thing. Like today was difficult. I'm going to hate listening to it back, but you know, like
You did
it's
great. You
it's
did great.
fine. Thanks. Thanks. It'll get easier. I'm hoping that I'm gonna sweat a little bit less every time I'm vulnerable. So
Okay. Less
yeah.
sweating. That's a goal. It's giving Botox. We're- sure. Oh,
Less
like
of
this.
a physical reaction.
I'm gonna add one more goal, and it's gonna be
Okay.
to find a barber.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's
If people are listening and could like help with that goal, like you guys are allowed to help us with the goals. So
feedback is
yeah,
necessary. Please.
yeah.
But yeah. Okay, this has been fun. We kind of dipped the toe into a little more personal stuff this episode. And so as like Sid said, as we like go think through all of this and work through this live with you all and grow, we'll keep becoming more vulnerable. But hopefully you all resonated with some of the stuff we spoke about. And also you can DM us or whatever you want to talk about, or if there's something that you want to mention or want us to mention. But thank you all for tuning in to another episode of Character Development. And yeah, we will see you next time.
Yes.
Bye.